painting at home with a file in hand, blinging up tipsy, got the sleuthing planned. Nails by Misty, I craft and I slay, with true crime tales while we polish all day. Charms, chrome killers, and glue, DIY nails with a crime-loving crew.
Hey everyone, it's T. Welcome back to my channel. Any idea what we might be doing today? I bet you don't. Before we get started though, I want to say, please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, if you could subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. I am working my way towards 1,000 subscribers and every single one of them matters to me. So, today is going to be a fun day. We are going to make our very own polygel. I don't know if anyone has tried making their own polygel before. I have. It works. You just need to be aware of your proportions and curing time, because you want to make sure that it cures completely, and you want to make sure that it is hard. Some things don't go together as well to make the polygel, but I have had a lot of luck making my own before, so I've been asked by a few people to show them how I do it, so we're going to go ahead and do that. All you need to make your own polygel is you need hard gel. So when you go to get your gel, you need to make sure, come on, you can focus, you need to make sure it is a hard gel, okay? So no soft gels. If you're going to make your own polygel, it needs to be a hard gel. And I like the Savilon. I've been using Savilon for a while. So all we're going to do is we're going to put we're going to put some of this hard gel here. And it's a little cold in my nail room today, I will say. We're just going to squeeze some out. There we go. Onto this tray. I don't need a ridiculous amount. We're going to make a few different colors. So where is hold on. There it is. I grabbed my little palette knife out and forgot to put it over here. So we're just going to cut that off like right there. Let me sit that up so that it goes back down. I apologize if you hear my jerky dog in the background. He is being a punk today. All right. I'm going to separate this into kind of two areas, right? Because I want to make two different color polygels. Now, the thing with polygel is you need to start slowly, okay? You can always add more. You cannot take it out. So I always say you just need to add it very slowly. We're actually going to use... I have a little metal spoon that I use when I'm sorting like stones and things like that. So I'm going to grab that. This is my little metal spoon. And I'm going to pour it in here first because I'm going to have a little bit more control. And I don't want to accidentally pour too much into my gel. So we're going to take that first little spoonful. And it's just a matter, you need to just mix, right? So we are just using our palette. You're going to notice it's going to start looking a lot more like polygel, like what you're used to seeing. You're just going to keep mixing. Get it all mixed in, nice. And you want to make it a consistency that you like. I prefer a little bit of a stiffer polygel in the summertime. In the winter, I prefer a little bit of a softer polygel because obviously with the temperatures, it makes a difference. So I am going to put one more spoonful in there and just keep mixing this. And we're just going to keep mixing and mixing and mixing. I find that I do not use like crazy expensive stuff when I do this. I've been using Savilon for a while and I really like it. I think it works well. It works well for something like this. So that's the one I like. And I don't know about you, but does this look like polygel to you? Starting to get to that consistency, huh? I'm going to zoom in just a bit on the camera, make it a little easier for you to see what I'm doing. All right, we're going to put just a smudge more in there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put it in a swatching stick, and we're going to cure it so that you can see how it cures. Now, this specifically is dipping powder I'm using on this one. So we're going to do dipping powder and we're going to do acrylic. Everyone knows, well, I don't know if everyone knows, dipping powder is just, it's another consistency of acrylic. It's the same kind of thing. If you were to, there are some dipping powders that you can use monomer with, and they will polymerize and you will get that nice look of an acrylic nail, which is fine. I personally like doing it like this, where it's a polygel that I'm using. So I'm just going to keep mixing. Got our polygel kind of like where we want it, right? It's all mixed in nice and well. Nice and well, that sounded a little odd, but I'm going to grab my polygel brush. I forgot to pull it out. 1 second. Okay, so with polygel, you don't drop the swatcher. You need to give it a base coat first to stick to. So we're going to do this on the outside of the swatcher. I could do it on the inside and then we wouldn't have to top coat it, but I want to be able to poke on it and show y'all, and then I also want to be able to play with it and move it around and show you how it moves. So we are going to just do a base coat on the whole nail. You'll put your base coat in. I cure for 30 seconds on my base coats for poly. And I'm just using my Glitterama, look at that, everywhere. The Glitterama base coat. I love the Glitterama base coat and top coat. They are some of my favorites. I pull them out all the time. That and that Brit Brat, oh my gosh. I know it's not Brit Brat anymore. I have to remember the name of her new, she rebranded, and I can't think of the name of it. Bratty Nails, it might be. Bratty Co, something like that. Her top coat, oh my God. I love her top coat. Okay, so here we have our poly that we have made, right? I'm going to go ahead and pick some of it up, put it on our nail, dip my brush in my slip solution. I just use alcohol as a slip solution. I always have. I've never used anything else, and it's worked great. At least for me, it works great. I'm putting my thumb under the swatcher just because with polygel, as you know, it's all about tapping and smoothing it out. So we're just going to keep doing this. I used to do, so when I started doing nails, it was during COVID. I think I've told this story 1.5 million times, but I started with acrylic because that's what I had. I had acrylic nails on. I wanted my acrylics. I really wasn't even aware of full cover nails yet. Hadn't even seen like a full cover tip like that. So I was all about sculpting my own nails. So I started out with acrylic and then moved to polygel. I found, for me, I think that made polygel so much simpler. Some people say that they have a big issue with polygel. I personally really like it. It is very sticky. That is the thing I think that a lot of people don't like about the polygel, is very, very sticky. And you have to be aware of that. It's going to come out with a sticky layer, all of that. But with polygel, the nice thing is you don't have to cure it until you're absolutely ready and it's where you want it to be. Acrylic, it starts to polymerize, and before you know it, it's not moving anymore. So I think that for me, starting with acrylic and then going to polygel was a huge help. Just trying to scrape it off on here. I don't want to waste any. Okay. It's the same process as with regular polygel. It's all about like patting it into place where you want it. As soon as your brush sticks, did you see that? As soon as my brush stuck, put it in the alcohol, wipe it off. If you get polygel stuck in your brush, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. So this first time that gets stuck, make sure you clean it off really well. So we cleaned it off. Now we're just kind of making sure we get it all up from the sides where I scraped it off. I personally like making my own because sometimes I have, like I said, I started with acrylic. I don't do acrylics at all anymore, right? So I have so much acrylic and like dip powders and things like that left over that I want to use. So they're really fun for like making your own polygels. And I just think you can get some really pretty mixes because you're mixing them yourself, right? It's things that you're really gonna like. Like this blue, this is a dip powder. So I'm specifically, this first one I'm using, I just dropped the lid on the floor. I was gonna show you it was Savilan, but it's a Savilan dip powder. So the first nail that we are working on and experimenting with is this one. And that's the thing I like about polygel is, like I said, you don't put it in the lamp until you're satisfied with the way it looks. It's all about making sure, like I like my polygel, and I've actually gotten to the point, I like to use an acrylic brush sometimes to do polygel. I don't use like my good Kolinsky's. Oh my gosh, no, not for poly. But I have some cheaper, less expensive acrylic brushes that work really well with poly. So I'm just trying to make sure that it's an even coat. I think I talk about that with everything. Make sure it's a nice even coat. So I'm going from the sides here because I can see a little indentation right there where there's not enough poly, right? And go back over here, grab a little bit more poly. This is going to go on the end here. Okay, so that's going to go on the end. There we go. There's a piece stuck, wipe it off. We don't want any of that stuck on our nail. So we just keep going around. I feel like there's one little itty bitty spot where I might have some poly stuck. So I'm just kind of making sure I don't wipe my nail off. And we're going to put this in the lamp in a second. Just want to make sure it is covered nice and evenly. This, just like any other polygel, if you're going to use a glitter polygel, you're going to want to cap that in clear if you're going to do any filing. We are not doing that today because this is a swatcher we're working with, right? But you are going to want to cap it with a clear polygel if you are going to have to do any filing. I try to make sure, and it's going to be much easier to do on a swatcher than your own hand because your thumb, whatever nail you're working on, right? Your body temperature is going to make that poly move and slide around. So it's easier to do it on a swatcher. We're testing this, obviously. So we are not going to have to do any filing. I'm going to make sure it's a nice, pretty shape before we even put it in the lamp. Try to make sure, even if you're doing your own nails, always look down the nail. You can see on this one, right? It's a little bit too thick here. So we're just going to dip it in the alcohol again, our slip solution. Now, I've seen all kinds of slip solution. I see people use base coat as a slip solution. And I've tried that. I don't like that personally myself. I like the alcohol as a slip solution. Now, you have to be careful with alcohol, though, and poly, because if you add too much alcohol, the consistency of your polygel is going to change, right? So what I'm doing now is I'm just trying to make sure it's even all over our swatcher. So this first one, like I said, is dip gel. Is dip powder. So it's dip powder, hard gel, and this is where we're at. Come on, you can do it. All right, so that is our first polygel. I'm going to put this on the lamp This is going to cure for 60 seconds, and then we're going to look at it and cure it another 60 seconds. While that is going on, we are going to clean off our spatula here. And we're going to mix up one with acrylic, just straight acrylic, not the dipping powder, to kind of give you an idea of first of all, the consistency, because the dip powder I feel like is definitely a different consistency than acrylic when you use it. We're going to do the same kind of thing though. So I'm going to use this acrylic powder. It's a Model 1, and the reason I want to use it is because of, hopefully you can see that, the holographic in it is just gorgeous, just gorgeous. So I'm going to try to get some of this, and I'm just going to put that straight. Now again, this is acrylic powder, so this is acrylic with a crap ton of glitter in it. And we're just going to keep folding it in, mixing it in. I could have done this on another palette, but if I was doing it and I was going to be using this Polygel on my nails, I absolutely would have. I would not be mixing them on the same palette, but this is just a demo to show you how I make it. Just keep mixing. Our first one has cured for 60 seconds, so I'm going to take it out and show it to you. So this is where we're at. If it had like a clear top coat, you can see pretty sparkly. Putting it in for another 60 seconds because I like to make sure it's fully cured. Even when I do my own nails and I do Polygel, I do a 60-second, take it out, and then do another 60 seconds. I don't know if it makes a difference taking it out. It's just how I've always done it. So that's what I do. I think we all have like those little quirky things that we've just always done, and you're like, I'm not quite sure why I'm doing it, but I've always done it that way. And it's worked for me, so that's what I'm going to do. Because you don't want any uncured product on your nails. We're just mixing. And did you see how little acrylic I used to get to almost that exact same consistency that we had with our dip powder? So that's the thing I think that is the biggest difference. If you're using a dip powder, you tend to have to use a little bit more, at least I do, to get to the consistency I like. Like I said, I like in the winter time, I like a little bit of a thinner poly. In the summertime, I like a thicker poly. All right, gonna put some alcohol. Whew, grabbed 3 of those, didn't need 3. Let me just wipe off our sticky surface here, and then we're gonna start pressing on the nail so you can see how hard it is. So wiping our sticky surface off, right? Because it's going to have a gnarly sticky surface. Do you hear that? That is hard as a fucking rock. It is. That is a really pretty poly too. Hard as a rock. So that was 2 60-second cures. Just wiping the whole splotcher off. And there you go. So any dip gel or dip powder that you have, anything like that, if you can't find a poly that you like, make your own damn polys. My opinion. I just wipe the end of that off. Okay. So we have, and I'm going to put the lid on this so that we don't spill it. I'm famous for spilling things like this, and that would make a mess, a hell of a mess. So let's close that. I already did spill a little bit of it. And then let's close this one. Oh, I dropped the lid. Let me grab the lid. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. So this is the Savillon dip powder. Get the lid on. All the way straight. I swear I can put a lid on, I promise. There we go. Savillon dip powder, right? So dipping powder is all it says on it. The Savillon one. I've had it for ages. This is actually, I did this with monomer and this dip powder. Some, like I said, some dip powders you can use monomer with, some you can't. That one I was able to. All right, we have this now. We're going to go ahead and, oh, hold on, my mom's on the phone.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
Mixing colors, designs on the go. In a world where mysteries glow.